Great work, Kaplan. We're gonna get you on that GQ.
You'll be on the cover, my friend. All right, thanks, friends, fam, and Overwatch type people, for joining us for another episode of Broverwatch, the Overwatch podcast, where three of your friends hang out, drink drinks, yell at each other, and talk about this game that we still can't get enough of. And it's been a big ol' fat, big ol' week in the Overwatch world, with lots of news coming in this week, especially about a new sweet old PTR and the competitive updates coming. So we got a lot to talk about, so let's introduce ourselves. This is an Overwatch podcast with three hosts. The first one being Nick. He plays such a great Lucio that they should just rename him to Winio Merriman. How you doing, man?
Really good, man. How about you?
Oh, fuck, I'm doing well. We had some technical difficulties last night, so we are at it again this week, this day after the last one.
Yeah, happy to be here for the second time.
Yeah.
But that's...
Apparently, I can do this the night before, and I still can't talk, so it doesn't matter how much practice you have. If you're drunk, you can't talk, boys. We also got one other beautiful, beautiful man with us, and that is Mr. Riley Gideon Turner, who I haven't memorized this sweet little quip for. But how are you doing, sir?
Woo! Happy to be back, guys. I love doing this 2 days in a row because I like doing this with my buddies, and gives me another excuse to have myself a drink.
Yeah,
like you needed one.
Like I needed one.
Yeah, man.
It's good to see you guys again. Why not?
Yeah, just hanging out with some of my favorite people, drinking my favorite drinks, and playing my favorite game. It can't be that bad if we got to re-record. Let's head into numero uno. What are we drinking tonight, boys? How are you keeping them tummies warm?
I've got one tonight that I'm really, really proud of. I've been doing beers for the last 5 weeks, beers that I'm relating. But this time I went into the creative side, the custom Overwatch cocktails. So I made a twist on a classic cocktail called a Rusty Nail, which is whiskey and drambuie. And my little boy, Torbjorn, my small man, as we all know, he fires those rivets out of his trusty rivet gun. So I'm calling this one the Rusty Rivet. And the thing about those rivets he's firing is they're damn hot. You've seen them. You shot them into a wall. They're glowing red. They're hot. So I put a little bit of our boys up in North Van, their hot chili vodka, into the classic Rusty Nail. And I gotta tell you, I was kind of expecting it to be not very good when I made it up, but it is good.
I can't wait for us to get together and have an Overwatch cocktail night and just get all wet and wily at BlizzCon. And
BlizzCon.
Yeah. If you're
so
listening to the
spice, dude.
Yeah, how's it?
So spice?
The drambuie really cuts down and adds like a sweetness to a Rusty Nail, but then having the spice in there as well is just really nice, actually. And I only used a touch of the chili vodka because that stuff is powerful. That stuff will knock you on your ass.
That stuff is spice. Now, if someone didn't know what drambuie was,
it's a flavored whiskey liqueur. It's a brand. Like it's a very specific. Only Drambuie makes Drambuie.
Okay.
So you can't find off-brand Drambuie. What it is I know I'm a fucking bartender and I can't describe what Drambuie exactly is. Scotch whiskey, honey, herbs, and spices. So you mix to make a Rusty Nail. You mix 3/4 of an ounce of Scotch and 1/4 of an ounce of Drambuie. So guys, go have a Rusty Nail and throw something spicy in it, and you got yourself a Rusty Rivet.
That sounds amazing.
And how about you, Nick? What are you drinking tonight?
Good to hear you're having a cocktail, Riley. I'm going to take your place and go for a beer. So I was thinking about Reinhardt in his youth in Germany. I'm sure he's had a beer or two. When he did, he was probably having some of Germany's #1 draft beer. Bitburger pills. So I got a couple tall cans of Bitburger, and yeah, they are doing just fine.
Yeah, man, that sounds delicious.
What about you, Eric? I don't think we introduced you earlier either.
Oh man, I always
there.
skip that shit. Well, I'm the least important dude here, so
You're just really, really modest, and that's okay.
Classic support, am I right? Yeah, so I am Eric Chunky Dunfield, a panda that just hobbles around World of Warcraft and is kind of tripped in his way into the future of our realm in Overwatch, and just happy to be shooting stuff and figuring why the Murlocs are on the side of ships and cooking on food vendors rather than in the jungle where they should be. So what am I drinking tonight? I am having something that I should treat myself a little bit with. We played competitive this week, which we'll get into a little bit later, and we learned a very valuable lesson, I think, in our team, which was we need to just like slow down and like enjoy the game. Like really, like we all love this game because it's fun, and that's what we should be concentrating on, and that's when we get the most out of it. And just like that, this cognac out of Cognac, France, is a higher quality, beautifully delicious brandy that is definitely worth checking out if you're wanting to spoil yourself a bit. And I'm just drinking it slow, enjoying it as it kind of coats my throat with its deliciousness, and just really getting some solid value out of that drink, you know?
You know, Eric, that sounds amazing, and it almost sounds like you're coming at it from a Pandaren frame of mind, slowing down.
It's funny, like when WoW announced that pandas were coming, I was like, "Fuck it, I'm out." Like I just want orcs, dragons, and violence. That's all I really care about. And then it ended up being just like this delightful experience that I took a lot longer than a lot of my friends that jumped in, because I honestly like played like the first 2 levels and I was like, I don't even give a shit. This is not cool. And then I came back and I was like, man, this place is like serene, and like just looking at these cherry blossoms is beautiful. And I got a lot out of that expansion, and it's a Pandaren mindset that I often have to remind myself to shove that salt back where it belongs in its shaker, and just
into the shaker.
Stare
into my
a little
shaker.
Bit of their wisdom rubbed off on you. They're
Yeah.
always telling me to slow down, and I appreciate it.
I don't think you actually said what it was.
Oh, it's Hennessy. Yeah, so this is the cognac that you'll hear a lot of them hip-hop and rappers talking about, and there's a reason that they speak of it so fondly, is it's freaking delicious, beautifully designed bottle and label, and looks great in any cabinet. So if you need that confidence and that swag, drink it up and let it spill down your face. Highly recommend.
World-renowned brandy. It's very good.
Yeah, like it sounds like cheesy to like think about it, like just slow down and have fun, but like regardless of whether we had more fun, we also started winning when we did that the other night.
Yeah,
totally.
So,
and we'll talk about that when we get into it. That was actually a big part of our winning and losing, was just play who you want to play, have fun. You know, we got back into it and we got way better. So cheers, boys.
So now that we're all oiled up and ready to chit and chat about this game, we got a lot of news this week, most of it coming around that the content we had talked about previewing last week, which was the competitive that was incoming. We actually got a sweet dev update from our sex man himself, Kaplan, came in and talked with his sweet mouth and his sweet body about the competitive that is incoming. You guys check out the interview?
I mean, the petition's still live, obviously. I think GQ is paying attention at this point, so throw your signatures on there.
I've been meaning to tweet at GQ from our official Broverwatch Twitter, at Broverwatch Show. Tweet at GQ, and Jeff Kaplan's not actually on Twitter from what I could find, which is sad.
So, of course he's not. He's so cool.
Because he's way too cool for it. But I've been tweeting at GQ, and we're gonna make this happen.
I'm still hoping for that Playgirl spread, man.
I did get a chance to watch the interview. I watched it. I didn't even know it was coming or anything. It was just on my YouTube feed. Anyways, the little bits of the update that he gave us were reaffirming that the new competitive compared to the beta one is not going to be grindy. You get your placement after 10 placement matches, and that's going to sit you somewhere between 1 and 100. And then going forward in playing competitive after that, you either gain or lose points, depending on if you win or lose matches. Lots of parameters on that, obviously. Like if the matchmaker system puts you against a team that the matchmaker system thinks is going to lose and you win, you're not going to gain that much. But if it puts you against a team that is very even or even higher ranked than you, and you end up winning, that's an upset. And we all love upsets. So you get a lot of rank points for that.
Match juice, if you will.
Yeah, so that's the biggest part about it.
Yeah, I'm so excited about these videos, and I feel that it's almost changed the culture at Blizzard of the way they communicate with their communities across their games.
Totally.
Blizzard has always tried really hard to communicate well with their community, but if you look at how like Dustin Browder and the WoW team, Hazakostas on the WoW team have been really trying hard to engage their communities in their perspective subreddits and in videos and on Twitter. It really seems that like when Overwatch was like, what do you want out of this game, that they really kind of led the charge for this community-driven developer relationship. So thank God for our Lord and Savior Kaplan.
Yeah, totally. Some more info in there is on the rewards as well. And we didn't really know. They had mentioned this in the past, but we didn't really know what that would look like. So they're going to keep them cosmetic, like they've kept everything so far. But you're going to get...
should be in a first-person shooter.
Yeah, so they don't want any kind of player power system. So during your placement games, and then for each win after that, you're going to get a CP point, like a competitive point, and you're going to be able to spend those on, right now, golden guns. So they cost 300 each. They're for every character, and so if you're doing well and you're winning competitive, you're going to be able to get these faster than anyone else. And then also, there are player icons and sprays for each season that are going to be exclusive. You have to have competed in that season to get.
Right. And I really like these sprays and player icons. Eric, it sounds like there's someone angry outside your house.
This is a common occurrence for those of you that play with me. I don't live in a rough neighborhood, but you'll often hear sirens and horns outside of my house just because I'm right beside a very busy intersection that often has accidents. So I'm safe. You don't have to worry. You can hold off the 911 calls. Everything's fine and no one's hurt.
I'm glad you're safe, Eric.
Thank you.
What I was saying, these sprays and player icons, they look great. They look to be, right now, every season is going to be based on a map. So right now it's on Ilios. And so the player icon is a windmill, which it's simple. It's like very, what's the word I'm looking for? Simplistic and like in a cool design way. And then the spray is a spray of the nice buildings in like the Ilios map.
The spray is really nice. I think the player icon is good, but the spray really jumps out at you. And I think you were just about to say, this is going to be the first animated spray. So there's two versions of it. And once we jumped into the PTR, we had to find out exactly what the requirements are to earn each of those versions. So the default regular Ilios spray, if you do your 10 placement matches for this season, you get it. So if you do that every season, you're going to get all of these exclusive sprays, and that's awesome. And then the animated
one... It's really easy to do those
totally
placement matches. It's fun, and you all should. So
yeah, takes 2 or 3 hours, and you get your placement. But the animated one, you have to get in the top 500 at some point during that season, that sounds really difficult to me.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and I wonder if because I want that animated spray, and I want it badly. Am I ever going to be good enough to get it? Is what I'm wondering.
Top 500 out of 10 million players is.
I just think that I'm amazing at the game, though. So,
well, I wish you the best.
Good luck, man. Good luck.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see you. Once you get it, I can't wait to see it. What do you guys think of the golden guns?
I personally don't really like him. I don't think there's any character that I would use him on. I don't know.
I think they're
Bugatti.
kind of like the Overwatch equivalent of like going out and getting grills and kind of getting your gold teeth on. Some of them look really good paired with particular skins. So I play, as you guys know, a lot of Mercy, and I use like her golden, almost like with a little bit of pink accent skin. That's one of the purple ones, one of the epic ones.
Yeah.
Would look really nice with that because there's gold is already an accent in that skin. Same with Zenyatta on one of his epic skins. I think it's a blue and kind of a gold skin,
Right.
and like I think his orbs with that particular skin are gonna look really hype. But like with Diva's guns are just like just a little too like gaudy for me, like straight out of New Jersey. Like I'm going out clubbing with my girls and I got like my fucking
Bastions
gold
look
on.
really-
I hear ya, I do, but I couldn't disagree more. Man, Diva's guns, throw it on the black Diva skin on Carbon. Oh, it's black and yellow anyway, and it looks like her hands went Super Saiyan. I don't know.
Another thing I'm thinking is, like, if I get those Golden Reaper guns, that Widowmaker is going to see me a mile away than she would have earlier, because I'm holding those big old golden flashy here I am guns.
Again, I totally hear you, but man, with the red outlines on the enemy team, I don't know. Do you guys think skins have that much of a play in how visible you are?
I think slightly. So, for example, like let's look at like Winston, a character with a giant body and very different color skins. And if you wear like a black skin on, say, King's Row, you're gonna blend in pretty heavily. But if you're covered in white and you're so heavily contrasted against the border, you're not gonna hide with the black accented skin, but you're gonna be immediately drawn to visually with the white skin. So I don't think it's like you can hide with some skins. I just think you're gonna be a little bit easier to see.
See, I've thought about this a lot, actually, and because the skins are so varied, I think that's a big reason why we see so much color variation on the maps, why we see Ilios. We see that one is very bright and colorful and stuff. So you've picked your black skin because you think that'll give you the competitive edge on these Dark Knight maps, and then you randomly get set into Ilios, and then you're just like, well, shit, now I'm black against the white background. So that's why they don't let you like choose the skin every time you hit H on when you're in the spawn room, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't pick the optimal skin for the map.
Yeah, I hear ya. I just think with the red outline, like, you know how text, like subtitle text, white text with a black outline is readable on any background? I feel like the red outline just makes your character, you're never going to hide. But I do know what you mean. Like a nice white one can really jump out at you.
Yeah,
totally.
and I never have really had the problem of, I didn't see that character visually that was in front of me. If a character like kills me that I didn't see, it's usually one that's flanked me really well and it always stayed out of my vision. I usually don't have the problem of, where did that camouflage character come from? And seriously, God, I hope they never ever put a cloaked character in this game. I don't like it.
I totally agree. I don't think it's a fun mechanic. Like, I think it works for some games, but I don't generally think it's a fun mechanic. And I think they could easily do a stealthy character a lot better than that.
Well, I would argue that's already Reaper. Like, he's a stealth character without a stealth mechanic.
Right, yeah, because he can appear out of nowhere, right? He can displace himself with his warp. But like coming back to the idea that this is kind of like the Jersey Shore edition of your guns, like maybe it should be. Maybe it's like, yeah, I got a gold chain. Bitches love the gold chain. Like, yeah, I'm yeah, I'm good at competitive, and I want you to fucking know that I'm good at competitive because these guns are gold, baby. Like, maybe it should be that. Maybe it doesn't need to look like hyper cool. It should be this like, yeah, I'm better than you.
Yeah, I think you hit the rivet on the head with that one. I think everyone.
I'm hitting the rivet on the head right now.
I think if you've got golden guns, you want everyone to know you've got golden guns.
Totally. Here's another thing though about the golden guns. Say you're jumping into a public quick match, and one character we're in a 6-stack, and one character on the enemy team has a golden gun, we're going to focus that person like crazy, because we're going to see, oh shit, that person is good. We should, as the 6 of us, take them out and deal with the rest of the people elsewhere. Because that's the person who's going to do the most damage to us.
And that's where the, like, big dick confidence comes from, right? Like, it's like, yeah, I got golden guns. Yeah, I know you're going to focus me, but I'm going to take you out anyways.
Yeah.
As my boy Asmongold, the WoW streamer and stuff, says, you go big dick DPS or you go home. Like, you always got to go big dick DPS.
That's hilarious, man. I like him too.
So, what I was thinking, what I wanted to say about this real quickly before we move on about like the guns and the golden guns is like looking at what kind of the UI behind this. I don't think this is the end of cosmetic guns, and I don't think we're only going to see cosmetic guns for competitive play. I think this is the start of either an in-game shop or things being included in loot boxes where we start to see purchasable skins on guns. Because I know in like CSGO, like that's a huge part of that game's economy is gun skins that you can purchase, because it's really the only thing on your screen that defines your Junkrat from any other Junkrat, and it really gives a sense of ownership on your characters. So I think we're going to see a lot more of these, and I think we're going to start paying that cold hard cash for them too.
I agree, man. I'm going to stop going to my local coffee shop, because every time I don't buy a coffee in the morning, I'll be able to justify myself buying a new gun for one of my characters. So,
yeah, I think you're totally right. Like, Jeff mentioned the golden guns during the interview, and then the next day when we got into the PTR, we got to see how that interface actually worked. And in your hero gallery screen, you actually have another slot now for weapons. But right now, the only option is the golden guns. But I could of course see that expanding into a bunch of recolors and different models and stuff.
Yeah, and right across from it, it says like it shows the like competitive points icon and then the amount that it takes. I can see this being multiple forms of currency, and like, yeah, this one is like 300 competitive points, but then the next gun might be 700 coins, or this one would be purchasable buy now button instead. So I think that we're going to see multiple forms of currency for to get these guns. Like maybe after an X amount of seasons have gone by, if they still keep the guns in the game as purchasable items, maybe that's when you can get it. Because he did mention specifically in that interview that I think you're referencing that through competitive, people will be able to get particular items much quicker than other people.
Right. So it could be kind of like in WoW PvP conquest switch. As soon as the new season comes up, the conquest gear from the last season turns into the honor gear for the next season, right?
Right.
So they just like cycle it down. Mm-hmm. So it could be kind of like that.
I would love it if Golden Guns was this season, and every season had a new variant.
Oh,
that would
God,
be
totally. That would be so dope. And he did mention also, like, it's not. He said skins and stuff as well. Like, we're going to see more skins. Guys, these 4 legendary skins on every character are not the only legendary skins we're ever going to see. Mm-hmm. Skins are coming. Like, there's so much in the pipeline for Overwatch, which is so exciting to us.
Just the one question I still have about these is, so it's the 300 CP right now. And as far as we can tell with our little time in the PTR, is that you get 1 CP per win. But I'm curious, like at the end of the season, do you get some CP based on your rank? Or if you're playing a really high rank, like at higher ranks, can you get more than 1 a match? Or because the 300 still seems like a bit of a grind to me.
I mean, for me, I was thinking the same thing. And 300 wins, I haven't even played 300 matches. Like,
I know, so that's like...
That is crazy. So I think what might happen, and maybe the reward system is just totally different on the PTR. Maybe they're just giving these CP as they're showing that this is how you'll get CPU. I'm thinking maybe you will still get 1 per win, but also then at the end of the season, depending on where you place, you'll get a specific allotted amount of CP. I don't know though. Nobody knows here.
Yeah. I think we're gonna see that, or what we're gonna see is that you will get to the end of the season and the prices for those last season's weapons will drop like very drastically. So what we'll see is like right now in the next couple months or whatever, you see someone with a golden gun or whatever, you're like, holy crap, like that dude is not only like out of control good, but he has played a lot of this game. And then after we get into the next season and we get another set of rewards, the last season set of rewards become less kind of important in the culture of the game. So we'll see them drop, and we'll see them on people. We'll be like, oh yeah, that's not as important. And then maybe there may be a new skin for this season, and that one will become that like, oh shit, this character is out of control good on the enemy team again. Because we do want these items to have that like shock value and impressive
They should have weight. Oh, absolutely. I will just say, like, right now where they are, if we're only getting one per placement match and one per win, they're seeming pretty unattainable right now. The game's been out for a month and a half or whatever, or a month now. I don't even have 300 games played on my main account, and I've been playing a lot of Overwatch,
right?
Like, for what I can fit in. There's no way that, even if they're only even counting the wins, and I'm supposed to be only winning about 50% of my matches, 300 is so high if you're only getting one per, you know?
Yeah, and they're long games. Like we haven't talked about yet the format, but the maybe we'll discuss that next. But the control point, yeah, the format of these matches. So we got to jump in and experience it in the PTR, which dropped the day after the interview that talked about competitive, and it was such a nice surprise. Like, we didn't know it was coming, and we had our like weekly try hard practice already scheduled, and just as the PTR was dropping, so it was perfect. So we had to go in as a team and do these placement matches. But we got to find out exactly what the game type looks like. So it's either a attack defend, and you do both the attack and the defense, or it's a King of the Hill, but it's best out of 5. It's basically first to 3 points, so you get either 1, 2, or 3, depending how far you got in the assault, and you get a time associated with that, and then it swaps, and then the next team has to beat how far you got, and in under what time you got there. So if you push the payload to almost the end of the map, but didn't make it, and then you stop the enemy team when they were halfway through the map, you're still gonna win.
Yeah. Nick, we were playing last night, and we had one on Route 66, which I loved. And this just goes to say how kind of unclear the rules are right now. So Route 66, you're putting it into the warehouse. They got so close. They went into overtime, but we ended up pushing it back and pushing them away from it. And they had 7 meters to go or something. You know how on the thing comes up 7 meters to go. So then we went on to attack, and we ended up pushing it. Really, really great game. And we didn't actually get the payload to the end, but as soon as we passed how far they had it, the whole victory thing came up, and a couple people on our team were just like, wait a minute, why did we just win? And I went on the voice cam, and I was like, because we got it farther than they did.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was funny that none of us were expecting it. It was quite a surprise. But yeah, I mean, to me, it seems like it's a cool format. The King of the Hill maps feel long to me because you're playing potentially 5 games.
Especially if they're even, right? Like, they're not so bad if one team has commands the whole matches, because then you play like 3, right? But if you go back and forth, you're playing like maybe 5 games, which is a long time.
20. We're used to these like really quick 7-minute Overwatch games, but when you're a game is one thing, and these competitive matches, and that's the big difference, is a game to a match, right? These matches can go for 20 minutes, and you're heavily penalized for leaving mid-match. So if you don't have the half an hour to sit down and do it, I would say just play a quick match, because you should expect to play for a half an hour if you're going to queue up for competitive.
Have you guys experienced it going to sudden death yet?
I have, and I don't like it. And actually, Kaplan made a post about how people are unhappy with it today. I don't know if you guys got to read that.
So what was the experience there? So what happened when you went to sudden death?
Basically, it flips a coin, and it puts you on attack or defense, and because generally attack has an advantage, and then they get 2 minutes to capture the thing and do it. And right now, like, capture the first point on an assault match. And right now, that's just pretty easy to do in 2 minutes. Defense is always at a longer run back on those maps and stuff, and just generally the attackers have the advantage on point one.
Because those maps are designed for attackers to successfully capture point A.
Exactly. So right now it is feeling a little bit like the match is, when it goes to sudden death, it's decided by the coin toss. And that's not a fun feeling. So.
Right, that's fair. I mean, it's not a ton of time, though, too. There's plenty of times where you hold them at point A for... Because what is it, usually like 4 minutes?
I have won a sudden death as well, but it just generally, it doesn't feel that great. And he talked about it, and he talked about changes that they are talking about implementing. I would have to pull up the interview right now, but...
Kaplan, like, I've been told by, like, ex-ladies and current lady, like, the key to a solid relationship is, like, good listening, and Kaplan's nailing it.
Absolutely. He's my bae, for sure.
You guys, you know what? Put that in your tweet. He's a good communicator. Like, GQ wants to know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, does Channing Tatum listen?
Exactly. That could be some of the meat of the article.
Is Channing Tatum
I know the other kind of meat of that article, am I right, guys?
Hey, yo.
Hey!
Yeah, competitive has been super rad, and like I think their mode had the decisions they made are a really great start. And I think what Overwatch has shown in its very short period of existing is they're willing to listen and they're willing to change and adapt rather than stewing over decisions forever. They make changes fairly quickly and then revert them the next week if they have to. We saw that a huge amount in beta, and we're still seeing it a little bit now. And I think that's good for a game that's in its infancy, because we want a game to evolve into what we want it to be rather than just the okay version that we have.
Totally. We've covered most all of the things about the PTR and competitive. What I want to know now is, how'd you guys like it? What did you think about it?
Oh, just like our placement experience, eh? Yeah, it was a fun night, and it was a long night because we tried to hit. I wanted to hit all 10 matches that evening, which is a tall order.
Totally.
And we had like the 6-person team together, which was super fun. But we had a funny experience of basically the competition was stiff right off the bat. We found out that only like 10,000 people could be in the PTR server at once. So, no, not to make excuses, but in general, the competition was all pretty serious.
We got rocked!
We got rocked in the beginning.
First couple of matches, we got rocked. But that's okay. You're allowed to get rocked.
Yeah, man. It's okay to lose.
It's placement matches. They got to figure it out. But we had a fantastic comeback. So we had like 3 in a row losses and 3 in a row wins. And we were finding that like our first 3 matches were so tense and serious and trying to take this seriously that it was really hurting our performance. And we kind of loosened up and had fun and did so much better, and then won the next 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. It was. And it's interesting. Like, I thought that like just because PTR is weird that we had crazy long queue times, because we had like 5 to like 8-minute queue times when we were queuing up for new games in skirmishes, and I thought that was like, oh, that's just kind of how PTR rolls. I guess it just takes a while to find it. And as Kaplan has said, and fairly standard across most games, is the longer you wait in games, the more loose the matchmaking's rules become. So it tries to find another group of the same size with the same MMR as you, so both teams have the same likelihood of having a chance of winning the game. But the longer it waits, it just wants to get you into a match and start having fun. And I thought that just like, okay, PTR, everyone must be waiting 5 to 10 minutes. But yesterday I jumped into a game and I was in within like 20 seconds. Right. And so that means that the matchmaking rules that we played on that night were like hella loose. If people were getting in 10 seconds and we were waiting 5 to 8 minutes, we were definitely being paired with whatever the matchmaking could find us, likely in the same group size. And I think that played pretty heavily into the difficulty that we had in those games. Was some of those teams were they were good. Like, you would watch on the kill cam and they were tracking well. They like their flanks were perfect, and it was fun to play against people that talented. But there was times when I felt like we were just like outskilled.
As I always say, I'm a big Super Smash Bros. Player, as I mentioned on the podcast before, but the only way to get better is to play against people who are better than you. It doesn't make me any better at the game to play against someone who I stomp. The only way to get better is to lose. Like, you gotta understand, it's not fun to lose, but it makes you better at the game, kind of thing.
Yeah, and it teaches you stuff about the game. So it taught us that, like, we need to lighten up and just, like, have some fun with this game. And that, like, lightness and fun, I think, instills confidence in your play. And when we're, like shouting and being so serious about the game, I think it almost makes us less confident of the fun choice, like of the choices we're making. When you're having fun and everyone's kind of chill, and you're still making calls, but like you have that air of fun about it. I think people are more confident in their play and they're not questioning everything, because when everything's super serious, it's like, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the wrong thing? And there's so much variables where you just kind of have fun. You just play it and just listen to the calls when they're made.
Yeah. So Kaplan addressed matchmaking right after, and he said basically there's 4 categories of games. And this ties into the PTR thing. There's, you stomp your opponent, you win but it's close, you lose but it's close, and you get stomped by your opponent. And ideally everything is in either you win or you lose as it's close. But what psychologically everyone wants is either to stomp or to win but close. And that's just a thing. So ideally everyone should be winning 50% of their matches. And that's actually what I did in my placement matches. I won 5 and I lost 5. I ranked at 42 from that. So that's in the upper percentile. I was happy with that.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's been fun over the past couple of days, then also experiencing how the system works. Once you've ranked for each win and each loss in competitive, your skill level goes up and down. And that, how much it goes up and down depends on the actual match. So if you're the underdog, you have the potential to go up a lot, and you might only lose a little bit if you lose. And if you're expected to win based on what the matchmaker thinks you guys should win, you can go down like a whole level and only go up like a notch of a level. Yeah. So I've had like whole levels up in one game, whole levels down in one game, and like just little notches either way as well.
I haven't lost since I placed. So.
Wow.
Whoops. I also haven't played very much since I placed, but...
Yeah. The other interesting thing with the skill levels is now we've seen quite a few people place, and everyone's in the 40s, like low to high 40s. So curious what kind of win streak it would take to get, it's out of 100, so we're not even halfway there. What kind of win streak it would take, or what kind of work it would take to get up to those higher levels.
Right, but I think you have to think about it in a way that 40 is still, I don't know how this math works, but most of the population is being placed lower. So 40 is still in like the upper percentile of people. We're not like half bad at the game because we're in the 40s.
Yeah, and I think
it's a weird thing.
If you were to ask anyone that takes this game at least semi-seriously, they would say, like, I'm like probably in the top 20%. Like, everyone knows that they're not MLG, but like everyone thinks that they're like super good, which would be top 20%. And I think like it doesn't really matter like where you place. It's like, are you improving? Are you getting better at this game? Like, you might, like, I've got friends in Heroes that like didn't place very well, but like they're consistently getting better and trying new characters, and I see them improving, and like that's where they should be at. If we just put all the value on like the number that we get, we're playing the game wrong. We should be being like, okay, this is the like peg of where I start. How can I improve my play? What are the people that are 20 levels higher than I doing that's so much better, and where can I improve? And how can I have fun at this skill level? Because if you're like, I have fun at Overwatch when I am plus 30 ranking, your games are always going to be insanely stressful because every loss is going to get you further away or closer to losing that 30. Where if you're like, okay, how can I get better and how can I see improvement at my current skill level? You can look at losses and actually look at them analytically rather than just being like, oh, fuck, what just happened? I'm so scared because I'm about to lose the thing that makes me have fun with this game.
Right, totally. And you shouldn't be looking for placing high and then just, oh shit, I can't play the game because I might lose rank. So you
Oh
should just
yeah,
be
yeah.
like,
And we see
Well,
that in
yeah.
Heroes all the
tracks,
time.
It tracks
Yeah.
your record for the season. So whatever you got to what you're currently at, whatever your record high is for the season. So, there's
that's
no real
what you'll be
shame.
rewarded for, right? So,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like ladder anxiety is like a real thing. Like Heroes sat in preseason for so long that like you would go on a win streak and get up real high, and that number was displayed beside your character profile. That you'd be
you
like,
don't want to play again because
yeah, and you're just like, I don't want all that pressure. And I think that one that like Overwatch has already announced, like its season length, and like that season 2 is coming, that we're not going to get that as much. So I
speaking
think
of season like 2.5 months with a 2-week break.
perfect.
Yeah,
So
which I
I don't
think that's
think we
perfect.
mentioned
I
that.
think that's great.
I think that's freaking awesome. I think that's like a perfect length.
That's roughly the same as Heroes is doing, right?
I think Heroes might be slightly shorter than that, but not by much at the moment.
Maybe they're doing 2 months.
Yeah, I want to say that. Like, I want to feel like it's a little bit less impactful. Like, a lot of the communities on both sides have really talked about like seasons, almost that follow like the seasons of the year, where like every season feels long, but it feels important too. Where
Right.
if you have like in Hearthstone, honestly, like the seasons of one a month don't feel important. Like they feel like, oh, that went by, I got a card back. What's next?
I really like how they work in Hearthstone because Hearthstone isn't that game that I want to sit down. Hearthstone is that game that I play on my phone when I'm on the bus, and I can still get up to the level where I got my card back, and I like that. I'm never gonna sit down at my desk and play Hearthstone when Overwatch is in the same launcher as it. Never gonna do that.
But imagine if you're trying to reach Legend, right? If you
Right.
start at like 12 and your win percent is like 51, and you've got to play like so many games to ever reach Legend that
Right.
like that
Yeah.
1 month you have to play like every day and for hours. And
Yeah.
for
Well,
the game,
thanks.
yeah, no, thank you, not for me. But I don't want I want to try hard at Overwatch, but I don't have that time, so I'm really glad that the seasons are a bit longer.
Totally.
Yeah,
me
I
too.
totally agree. Yeah.
I think it's a great work, Kaplan. We're gonna get you on that GQ.
You'll be on the cover, my
Oh.
friend.
I hope Kaplan listens to our podcast.
The thing is, I bet he doesn't even want to be on the cover, and that's partly what's so cool, right? Just a
Man.
reluctant
Oh my gosh.
hottie.
Kaplan is so freaking cool, man.
Yeah.
Doesn't have Twitter, doesn't even care about GQ. We'll get him there.
Oh, but like you had mentioned something like that they've said in GQ. He was like, yeah, I know that already. He just knows all this stuff, but he just so calm about it. I like how we're just like RPing Kaplan.
Yeah.
So moving on from our Lord and Savior Kaplan, we have some community content. Unless you guys, there's anything else you want to chat about as far as competitive, we would be
I like
moving
it.
on.
I just want to say I like it. I probably will use cat competitive as my standard of play. I think quick match is going to be a very new hero comes out. I'm going to jump into quick match and really jump on them and try to figure them out. Like a real player environment. But other than that, I'm going to be living on competitive from now on, basically.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I just want to say to the listeners, if you guys haven't done the PTR yet, go into the Battle.net launcher, download it. It's just there in the Overwatch panel. You switch down from your region to the PTR region, and try it out. It's awesome. You get to test out all this stuff. You get a dry run at those placement games, and because by the time this comes out, it's not going to be live in the live version of the game. So take advantage of that. Try out the PTR.
Yeah.
Be aware, it is a public test realm. Nothing's going to be perfect. Your pings will probably be a little higher. It's a test realm. It's not there to be a finished live product. It's there for us to test.
One thing I do want to say, because the game that I played by myself, make sure you're in party chat and initiate the conversation. I found in that game, among all of the countless ones I've played in quick play, is that people were far more likely to talk to each other and communicate. All you have to do is start that conversation and people will jump on it. I immediately started calling out flankers positions and my alt status, and people followed suit and were super great about it. And we had no salt in match chat because everyone heard the humans.
And that's something we've been talking about since episode 1 here on Broverwatch. Like, communication is key to winning in this game. It's a team shooter. Like, you communicate, it gives you such an edge. And the thing about the 10,000 player limit on it is sometimes you're not going to run into a full team of people who speak English if you're an English-speaking person who is probably listening to this podcast. Because we speak in English on this podcast.
There's one PTR realm that all the different
right,
like
and that's exactly what it is. There is only one PTR realm.
Yeah, that kind of thing, man. Obviously, it's a barrier to winning when you guys can't communicate. But there's something that like warms my heart about somebody talking in Korean and somebody talking in English, and you guys are all kind of on the same team, trying to understand each other. There's something I really love about that.
Can I just throw a shout out? I didn't get the guy's name or whatever, but there was one time I was playing in the PTR, and there was this German guy, and I don't speak German. He spoke a lot of German, but mostly he just swore a lot. He was like, Scheiße, Scheiße, Scheiße. I guess he didn't have push to talk on. He just had noise opening mic, but he was just like, Scheiße, Scheiße, Scheiße. It was really funny.
Earning that explicit tag in multiple languages tonight.
Yeah.
So competitive is great. I can't wait to get it in the full game and have it so stuff can't get erased. But we did have some community content this week. We had 2 posts on Reddit worth mentioning. The first one being there was a Korean player that was cleared of hacking accusations. I think, Riley, you looked at this a bit, right?
Yeah, it was actually mentioned on like quite a few things, not even Overwatch related. But so there's a 17-year-old female player who is ridiculously amazing at Zarya mostly, but Overwatch in general. Her name is Geguri or something. I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyways, she was accused of cheating by 2 players on a separate pro team, and Blizzard Korea went in and looked at it all and have now cleared her for all of the cheating accusations. And also, 2 of the guys on the other team who accused her said if she's found not guilty of cheating, then we will leave the competitive scene of this game. And they did.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Mic dropped.
Yeah, like, fuck yeah, like, way to, like, be that good. I think it's so cool that the one that, like, this bet was made, one, she proved them right, and that they actually left. Like, that's badass.
Yeah, totally badass. Apparently, I'm just reading the edits on the post. There was a Genji player who also is the #1 Death Knight DPS on WoW in Korea, who is like just homies with this Zarya girl, who is like supporting her through the whole thing. So I say, heyo, female gamers, like I want all of this. And also, she's the #1 Zarya player in Korea, and she uses a $13 mouse.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's
her mouse is just a plaid mouse, and she wrecks face with it.
And the best compliment you can get in a video game is to be accused of cheating.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yes. Every time people accuse you of cheating, that's a trophy for yourself.
I used to get that in my Call of Duty days back in the day, and it just like Gideon uses aimbot, and I was just like, oh my god, yes.
And
I am that good.
Gideon? More like Guardian.
Right? Feels so
I've
good to be accused of cheating.
heard people in match chat saying like, oh, this guy's got aimbot, and like, as far as I know, we covered the wall hack story, but are there even aimbots in
I
Overwatch?
don't think so.
Not that I know of. So I don't even know if half the time these people who are accusing are probably kind of trolling themselves, but it's still a pretty big compliment. And this one was serious, and people quit.
Totally.
I think these guys have actually quit for good, or they're gonna like snake that just like weasel. Once it dies down, they'll join
They
it.
seem like snakes. Snakes will be snakes. I just say congratulations to Geguri. I'm glad you're not cheating, and I want to see more of play like that in Overwatch, because
Yeah.
holy shit, you guys should watch her stream. She's fucking insane at this game. Like,
That's awesome.
She's
I haven't
so
seen
good.
gameplay. I can't wait to check it out.
Yeah. So
basically, what I took away from it is, as Zarya, you should just be throwing out those right-click grenades like nobody's business. You're running back from spawn, throw them into the sky. Maybe they'll hit somebody. Just throw them all the time.
That's awesome. So the other piece of community content we had come out of the old shit show that is Reddit is some talk about turret play and on console specifically with Torbjorn and Symmetra, and how that is kind of running amok over there. You guys check that out?
Yeah, I read all about it, and basically it comes down to aiming on a console is a lot harder than aiming on a PC. So these characters that don't really have to aim are disproportionately higher than they would be on a PC. So Torbjorn is running about 20% higher win rate on console.
And that's
than
fucking
he is
insane. 20% is
crazy.
huge.
He has like a 69% win rate on console, and basically people on console are complaining right now. Every match I go into, I'm just fighting a 6 Torbjorn cheese team because
That
he's
sucks.
so good on console. And so this goes back to what Blizzard talked about. Like they need to balance the game differently.
Yeah,
Because-
and I think that needs to, like, they've talked about that, and I think this is a perfect example of when they need to, where just the input method of getting your character to move its cursor around the screen is so vastly different and less sensitive than a mouse that, like, in a class-based shooter where characters have very different ways of doing damage, that they're going to need to tune it differently, and I would almost bet that after our competitive update, the next patch that we'll see will be a patch
It'll be
to
a
console, and if not even before or like with that patch, because I think that'll just like it'll be a fucking salt ass margarita party on console if like how you win in competitive is play Torbjorn.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be nasty.
It's like just from seeing the community on Reddit and other Overwatch fan sites. Apparently, right now, I play on PC. We all play on PC, but right now it's rough on console. Just Torbjorn's everywhere. So that's what it was for a little bit in beta too. Apparently,
Torbjorns were insane. Like its accuracy was higher than it is now, and its tracking was faster than it is
Right.
now. So it was insane. Like you would play against a Torbjorn as a Pharah, and by the time that you had popped around the edge, you had already had 2 shots, and it was completely locked onto you.
right?
Yeah, the difference is now it takes half a second the turret takes half a second to reorient and lock on you and start shooting again,
Right.
Yeah,
which is nice.
and it's specifically a console issue. Like Torbjorns are strong on PC, but they're not uncounterable, and they don't have
Right.
a win rate that
They're
is
strong
out
in-
of control.
Yeah,
They're strong in certain situations and stuff, as they should be. They shouldn't be strong in every situation. Apparently, on console, attack Torbjorns are very common as well. Because-
God.
Yeah, he's just that good on console right now.
Honestly, I
feel
think
like
this
there's-
is one of the most important problems they have to fix with the game right now, because the hype for this game is so real. Like Forbes gave it a 10 out of 10. Like everywhere I go, Kotaku won't stop posting, like shit posting, like whatever article they can find to talk about Overwatch. Like every second one is like the same article
Dude.
reworded. So the hype for this game is like out of control, and it would really suck to be so excited about a Blizzard game again after leaving WoW or something, and then coming back and being like, oh, I play console now, and there's finally a Blizzard game on it, and getting on there and just like getting wrecked by this character that is not high skill cap.
Kaplan, our boy, you gotta do something about it, bud. So.
Yeah, and like this game and other games, even in Heroes, what the community team or like the team seems to actually respond to is like posts about what makes the game fun and what makes it unfun. So there was a lot of talk on Browder's Twitter about unranked draft and whether they should add it to the game and split that like quick match player pool. And a lot of the talk that like there seemed to be a response on is like, I'm with my friends and I want a balanced game. And it's unfun when there isn't a balanced game that I have to go through. I think the same thing applies to Overwatch, where if some form of game breaking, or not game breaking, but just some form of exploit or difference between the two methods is unfun, they're way more likely to approach it, and they really should.
Oh, I feel like we just nicely glossed over the fact to play PC Master Race here. But,
yeah. PC, well, obviously.
Obviously, the auto-aim characters are the best characters on console, but that's fine.
Well, anything on console is really fucking hard, dude. It's so hard.
I'm kidding.
My thumbs are dumb and uncoordinated. I don't know how you expect me to aim a fast-paced first-person shooter with my dumb, uncoordinated... Sure, they're great. They made our society what it is and everything, and we can grip things because of our sweet-ass thumbs.
Thumbs
Can I
OP.
freaking aim a gun with them? No. I need my whole arm to do that.
Yeah, man. Thumbs OP and fixed console. Drunk.
Bit
So
Bird
if you're
did
looking
its
for the
job,
podcast out in the world, most places you can find us at Broverwatch Show, including Facebook and the tweeters. Broverwatch Show for our Gmail as well.
Broverwatch Show, yeah.
Yeah, so that's where you'll find us on the internets. Please reach out to us. And if you're looking for people to play with, as always, with every podcast, we're just a bunch of friends drinking that want to be your friend, drinking, playing Overwatch together. So just join up.
But also, last week, if you guys haven't seen, last week was a special video episode. So if you want to see our ugly mugs in person, go check it out on YouTube. You go to last week's episode. There's a bit.ly link in the episode description that'll take you to the YouTube video, or just Broverwatch on YouTube.
Yeah, so with that car passing by, we are heading out. Thanks for coming along on this wild, wet and wild ride. That is the Broverwatch Show, the Overwatch podcast, and have a great night, and we'll see you in game.